when I got over there, the first thing he said was, I need to be at the hospital tomorrow, and I shouldn't be coaching this game. And so that, to me, provides all the clarity, because there was no unprecedented is the word that gets thrown out a lot about this situation, because that's what it is. But in that moment, he really showed who he was, that all his focus was just on Damar and being there for him, being there for his family at the hospital. And at that point, I think everything trended in the direction it needed to trend, and the right decisions were made there. But again, just the way that I really felt Sean McDermott led in that moment for his players. He was there for his players. He processed the right way, which was incredibly difficult, and really helped us get to the solution that we needed to get to.
Wow.
That is a leader. Yeah, welcome to the Number One Bengals podcast.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Moment of silence.
Yes. And we really have never been in this situation before. The Cincinnati Bengals played a game, started a game, and now that game has been erased from the history books.
No, it has not, Daddy. Has
John.
it? John.
That decision is actually being
Up in the air.
decided right now, actually, as we're speaking.
Yes. So it's been erased from history books.
I don't think it'll ever quite be erased.
Why would you just repeat something after we told you that it's wrong? I don't get that.
Right. And
And
what
it's
happens-
actually if any game in the past year has gone down in the history books, it has been this game. Like, to me, this game was about the NFL coming together, NFL fans coming together, and mostly, really, the Bills and the Bengals fans and staff and everyone, players coming together and saying, listen, life and well-being are more important than football. And I'm impressed, personally. I'm impressed with the way it's gone. I'm impressed with the chutzpah and of our head coach, Zach Taylor, who I always knew was a great guy, but he's really proving it. It's just been an amazing, this is an amazing human moment that you have basically crapped all over by saying that it's been erased from history.
Well, I feel like you are trying to cancel me on my own show, which has been on the air for about 9 years now. It is not ever getting canceled. Okay. And I would just say this, that Zach Taylor, yes, was very brave. And he decided that, look, I agree, we can't play this game, we can't continue this game. And a lot of people are saying, this is bad for the Bengals.
No.
They were ahead, they were going to win.
Nobody said that.
And they're just focused on the wrong things.
No, nobody said that. You're saying a lot of people.
No, a lot of people, John, come on. A lot of people are upset. They're like, the Bengals lost their chance at the number 1 seed, maybe the number 2 seed.
Nobody said that.
So before we talk even about any of that, you have to, we have to say, because we better all feel it. I mean, I know John, Hoji, and I do.
Yeah.
We are continuing to think about Damar Hamlin and his family and I'm going to get emotional now. It's just this amazing, beautiful community that stepped in and cared for him, from all of the medical staff that were on site. I know John and I were at that game. I know probably many others were either there or watching on TV. And it was horrifying, truly horrifying. And to hear that this young man is coming out on the other side and things are going well. You can see I'm still processing all of this, but it's just really special, and we have to keep Damar Hamlin in our thoughts and just give all the kudos to the medical staff who have taken care of him, to the people who are supporting his family, to the Bills organization, to his teammates, to our Bengals, to the entire, from ownership, front office, the players. It has truly been extraordinary. So sorry, I got emotional.
Do not be sorry, Bridget. Thank you so much.
That's the right response.
Yes, thank you so much for saying all of that.
Yeah.
It's been 4 days now since what happened, and we're all still processing it in our own ways. Everyone who was there, everyone who was watching from TV, but imagine what the players and the coaches are still going through. That's still my lasting memory. It's always going to be my lasting memory of being in the stadium. It's just seeing all the players, the Bills players specifically, surrounding Damar while he's going through what he's going through, and some of them had to just pull away because they were just picturing the absolute worst. And I've never, like, I've seen players react to injuries before, but never to someone's heart literally being stopped right before everyone's eyes. And the reactions of Tre'Davious White, Josh Allen, these guys who just couldn't, like, they're watching their brother, their teammate, their one of their best friends, just helpless out there. It's something that I will never forget. It's something that is forever engraved in my mind, and just the response by the medical staff, the training staff, to give him a chance at living and potentially getting better at University of Cincinnati Medical Center is just a testament to how prepared those people were and how the situation was handled, and just grateful for everyone who was involved in getting Damar to where he is right now.
Consummate professionals. And I will say, one of our viewers was asking about the latest news. I think the latest news we have is that he's functional. I mean, he's able to write he's able to write his thoughts out.
They asked him, when he woke up, they say the first thing he asked was, who won the game?
Yeah.
And that's a very good question. Nobody knows. But he also, what happened, I just want to say that Bridget and John were both at the game. I just want to add that. So, and they talked before the show, they talked about how quickly the ambulance got out there and really how the scene unfolded. And now, as you said, Hoji, they said he's neurologically functioning, which is more than we can say about a lot of people out there who are still upset about the football side of it. They're not neurologically functioning. And really, there's just so many inappropriate comments out there.
Yeah.
Comparing it to a boxing match, saying, well, you called
We don't need to give, and people say dumb things, and we don't need to, like, this is sort of what I hate about social media, Twitter in particular. Like, you can have such horrible, stupid, asshole-ish takes, and we share them. And even saying, like, what an asshole that person is, well, sure. And you've just given them more impressions. They just, whatever, like,
it's almost as if
we don't need to give any credence to those.
Yeah, I agree. Prayers. It was wonderful to see everybody come together. It's really an odd moment, I think, as a Bengals fan, because the Bengals and Bills have actually had a spiritual connection now for years. And
I think it's stronger than ever before.
I know. What's happened is that they're basically like one team now. I think that the possible solution would be, why not let them just form into one mega team and just play the rest of the season together? Because it's like we really are like brothers now, or sisters or whatever. So amazing. Now, the talk is that the way it'll be resolved is either what?
Well,
they're gonna add a week.
So Adam Schefter.
Let's let John talk about that.
Yeah,
let's let John talk about. I just want to add real quick. Adam Schefter. He said two options being considered are, one, that the AFC Championship game will be played at the neutral site.
Okay.
Because both the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, but really those two, it really wasn't clear who was going to win the number 1 seed.
Right.
And that's one thing. And the other thing, John, is that they're saying the number 1 seed will be able to choose between the first round bye and having home field throughout. These are two things he proposed. John,
anybody's going to choose the first round bye. That's obvious.
Well, no, because let's say it's easy to get by that wild card team.
It's not.
But you're worried about playing the Bills, or you're worried about playing the Chiefs at their home.
No.
John, go ahead.
No one's going to choose anything but the first round bye.
John.
These are only options because it's basically assumed at this point that the Bengals-Bills game will not be resumed or restarted in any capacity. Because honestly, like there is no fair alternative here, because if you ask the Buffalo Bills to fly back to Cincinnati and like restart that game at that yard line, like regardless of anything that they feel right now ever since a tremendously positive update on Damar Hamlin. That's still trauma that they have to deal with, and I think the NFL realizes that now. If they have to come back to Cincinnati in the playoffs, if they happen to meet in the playoffs, and the Bengals are the 2 seed and the Bills are the 3 seed in the divisional round, like then they'll just have to face terms with that. But I don't think that the NFL wants the Bills to kind of relive what they just went through. So that's why these potential alternatives are in place, because, like you said, because the Bills and Bengals won't have a 17-game schedule to take advantage of any potential seeding opportunities. These are ways to kind of even out the playing field. Now under these scenarios, it's like whoever the 1 seed is gets the option between having a bye or home field advantage, and then whatever the 1 seed doesn't choose, the 2 seed gets to decide. Now, these are just rumors; these are not official proposals or anything like that. They are deciding this at this moment as we speak, and we'll probably learn more about this tomorrow. But it does seem like the NFL is trying, any way, shape, or form, to create and instill as much competitive balance in an unprecedented situation. Like we just saw 2 years ago, they played out a full 256-game schedule while COVID was pushing back games, right? Like they didn't let COVID stop that schedule at all. And now they're in a situation where they've never been before, because the NFL is always just churning the machine, just play the games regardless of anything. Yeah. And now they're stuck in this unprecedented situation because they didn't have anything to back it up.
It's just so sad that so many people are saying, well, just give the win to the Bengals and we don't have any of these problems.
Nobody's saying that.
No, you can't do that.
You're saying
right?
that.
I mean,
I want to go back to what Bridget was saying about asshole-ish.
Yeah. But what I want to say, John, is
that is one instance.
It's
where
terrible.
We can
Bridget, it's terrible.
No,
you need to call out the trolls.
No, you are the troll. You are the troll.
No. Can I just finish what the person said about boxing? Okay, I won't. I won't finish that. Okay.
No, you can't.
But let me just say something else. John, look, week 18, it's too late to change it. It's already been scheduled. People have bought their tickets, they bought their flights, all that. Let week 18 play out. But why not let the Bengals, Bills... I mean, I guess this is not an option anymore. I don't know. But I think the logical thing would be to let the Bengals play week 19, all the other playoff teams, because the Bengals kind of got a bye, Bills kind of got a bye. A lot of trauma, but physically, let's say, they got the bye. Those teams get a bye, week 19. And then the playoffs, I know maybe the first seed will have 2 weeks off, but, it doesn't seem to get the Super Bowl teams out of sync, I mean, I feel like this late in the season,
but that's because it's both of them.
I mean, I think the 2-week bye can go either way. Don't you think so, John? I think that you can either be rusty or you can be super rested and healthy. So I feel like that's the most logical way to conclude it. Is that just, yeah.
How does it become a 2-week bye? Like if the Bengals...
if you're the number 1 seed, you get the 1-week bye that the other playoffs team gets in week 19.
You get the 1 week
and then you get your
gets,
first round
your own, the one
in week 20, if you will.
Yeah.
So wait, so where's the other bye week come from?
One is the natural bye week they get, which would be after week 18 normally, but it'll be 1 week later. So the other one is what all the playoffs team will get, which is a 1 week bye after week 18.
That's not what every team gets. Only 2 teams get bye weeks after week 18. This is 2
I know.
seeds.
I'm saying this time the only teams that will be playing would be the Bengals.
My point is all this is very confusing. Honestly, until all this is kind of finalized, like I'm not going to understand any of this.
Yeah.
And the thing is it is.
Can I just say, John, it's not even appropriate to talk about this stuff.
I think so, yeah.
Go ahead, Bridget.
Well, it is a horrible and unprecedented situation, and there is no great answer. There's a man in the hospital. There are teams who players get their livelihood from this game, and they're wondering what's next. But they're also feeling afraid. I go out there. Is something horrible going to happen to me? These are all reality checks, and I think we just have to check ourselves as fans and just a decision's going to be made, and it is inevitably going to make someone there is going to be someone who is not satisfied with that, and the thing I just want to scream is that's life.
That's life.
That's life.
As Frank
Football
Sinatra
is
said.
life.
Frank
Can I
Sinatra
just-
said
That's
it
life.
best. Yeah.
Can I
I've
just
been a
point something
pirate, a
out?
poet. Yeah.
Thank goodness that Damar is okay. Thank goodness. He's mostly okay. He's gonna survive, but thank goodness. But let's be honest. I don't think, how do I say this? He could have died. Very easily he could have died.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I
why
don't
it's a
think the
tragedy.
danger or the issue or any of that changes at all. You see what I'm saying? Just because they happen to get there fast enough. So if there's something that needs to be rectified, we shouldn't let the medical outcome of Damar impact that. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think what you're saying is that changes need to happen even though he got better. Or he might get better.
If there's something inherently dangerous
Yes.
about football, that
Okay,
because like his heart, they say his heart got out of rhythm. Because if you hit someone when their heart is beating,
Yeah.
the way I understand,
Yeah.
the heart will beat off rhythm, and that something along those lines.
Right.
And so
he
it had to-
basically he had cardiac arrest. The thing is, I
no,
mean,
but it was because of the shock of getting hit at a
Yeah.
very bad moment or something.
I just want to note really quickly that someone called John and I unique and beautiful.
Yes.
who?
Someone called us snowflakes, and snowflakes are so pretty. Each one
They
is
are.
unique. They are
Yeah.
beautiful. They fall so delicately,
Yeah.
and everyone loves them at Christmas. So.
And if you don't pay attention to them, if you listening on the show, eventually they will freeze and they will destroy your driveway.
They'll
and
pile
your
up
life. They will
and
destroy
kill
you.
you.
We got
John
two
and
right
I-
on
Come to
Christmas.
get you.
Yeah. We got the Sicilian snowflake too. So here's the thing. I agree with you, Daddy. The Romans used to take young men and even old men, put them into a coliseum and let them fight to the death. How different are we than that? Let's be honest.
I'll give you my 2 cents, John. You tell me what I think. This was a freak accident. I don't think this is an indication of how dangerous football is. I think the neck injuries that we had in the past, or I think those are more of an indication of the problem with football. I think this was more of a freak accident that could have happened in other sports. John?
Man, I was kind of weary of doing anything pieces, but you guys are just rolling right into it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how many times have a collision between a shoulder pad and a chest plate happen in football?
That's what
Like
I'm
a
saying.
billion?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this is probably the first time it's happened. Like, I talked to
Yeah.
one of my best friends after the game, and he played football for a long time. And watching that made him think how many times that he had a helmet or a shoulder pad contact him, and at any point in that 30 millisecond window, he could have ended up like Damar Hamlin. Like, anyone could have ended up like Damar Hamlin. And like you said, Daddy, it's not an indication that football is getting more violent. It's just a reminder of how violent it all was. And that's why, like, my biggest takeaway from the night was I'm really curious how players kind of respond to this and how they kind of process it, because it's unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And I'm glad that, at least from the surface, it looks like the Bills and Bengals players are in good spirits based off of how Damar is doing.
I
Just
wanna
as a
say-
measure, I was a QB coach,
Yeah.
but my own stepson, when he wanted to play football, I said no. I signed him up for ballet.
Yeah.
Also, question, Daddy, is Scott Blankenship your other name? Have you changed your name?
No, we have. So Bridget,
to
maybe
Scott
you can help
Blank,
us out
because
here.
the anti-vaxxing stuff, that's classic Daddy, isn't it?
That's very
That's
classic,
classic,
Daddy-o.
It's profitable.
I'll be
It's
honest
right
with
up his
you.
alley.
The vaccine, once they made the vaccine free, I really didn't have much to say about it. It's hard for me to turn down free things.
Well, no. But anyways, yeah.
Ceiling
deep
cats.
breaths, lots of
Yeah.
loves. Maybe we talk now about Ravens, or I mean, I think we're pretty much.
Yeah, I think we should talk about Ravens.
because that's probably
John.
the most likely scenario.
Well,
Listen, I just want to add.
yeah.
I mean, as a transition here, most likely scenario is the game will not be played. I think we all
Will
agree
not
on
be.
that. It's too strange for them
Bengals-
to go out and pick
Yeah.
up the.
And they've already said that, right?
Yeah.
They've
And
said
this
it won't
is
be
this is
resumed.
the ridiculous part, is that the game's not going to play. Okay, so just let it go. Let it slide. This young man, nobody cares more about Damar Hamilton than me. And this young man is
Whoa.
okay
Called his
now.
name wrong.
And that's
Yeah, you
Whoa.
just
What's that?
said the wrong name.
You said the wrong name, and you don't
No,
care
but-
about anybody but
no,
yourself.
listen,
Everybody knows that.
Nobody
so no, hold
cares.
On.
What I'm saying is the fact that he's okay is all that should matter. But some people are saying, okay, the game's not played. The Bengals should
Some
just,
people are saying-
it's crazy. You can't just give the Bengals the win just because it looked like they were going to win.
No, you
At home.
You want
Look.
to negate saying that because that's what you want to say.
Let me just
say,
move
no.
on.
The reason why they can't play the game, I mean, one among many, is it puts the Bengals in an awkward position of, okay, now you win this game, you look like a jerk. I mean,
Yeah.
like, no matter how
It's-
it goes, it's not good. So
Exactly.
now, that being said, the Ravens are next.
So John, so look,
Yeah.
John,
Shall we talk about
here's
the
thing
Ravens?
about the Ravens?
Because it's an
if the
important game.
Bengals won the AFC North, okay, they have no chance at the number 1 seed. When do the Chiefs play? Before or at the same time as the Bengals?
Play Saturday.
Saturday. So if the Chiefs win, I think we will not see the starters very much, John. And they're playing the Patriots. It's not a huge challenge.
It depends. It depends on what they decide to do with the playoffs. Like if they decide to enact some of these alternatives where they give potential benefits to the number 2 seed, I think that there's a chance that the Bengals go. And still, like if you're the number 2 seed, you have a chance to host a game against the 3 seed. I think they would still be interested in being number 2.
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, because then if the Bills lose,
Yeah.
then if the Bills lose, so when do the Bills play? They play Saturday.
Yeah, but the
They
Bills
play
are
at the
not
same
going to
time.
lose.
They play at the same time as the Bengals that won.
Listen, I just want you guys to know. I want everyone to know from a karmic perspective, the Bills are winning their next game. If it's against us, if it's
Probably.
against someone else,
Yeah.
they have momentum. They have
Yeah.
a lot of love. There's a love karma that's going around in that city and in that team. Whoever plays them is going to be destroyed.
Okay, so here's the thing.
It's a karma
It
bus.
looks like you said. I think the Bengals are not going to play their starters too much. They're going up against this guy Tyler Huntley, John, who he has a QBR of under
49
20
or something.
in 2 of his 4 starts.
Yeah, he's not very
the
good.
offense.
Did they say first? I was watching something last
Lamar's
night that
out.
said they
Lamar
officially
Jackson's
said
out.
that.
I actually
Okay.
heard
He hasn't practiced in a month, and he hasn't practiced.
He's
this
out.
week.
He's out
He's
till
out.
next year.
Yeah, and I think it's officially he's out with the injured pocketbook. Is the problem? But I mean he's a smart
Can you
man.
explain that? What you mean by that?
Well, I mean, why go out there, right? When it looks to me, John, looks to me that the Ravens are like, oh, we have a poor man's Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley. Why should we give, and they think the offense can function with them, and it's just not. And I think Lamar's a little offended by that. And he has a knee injury, but I think it's probably the first thing more than the second one.
Yeah, are you a fan of quiet quitting, Daddy?
Well, I'll tell you this.
No.
Let's say Lamar Jackson goes out there. No receivers, right? A struggling offense, and he gets hurt. I mean, that is going to impact his guaranteed money by at least $50 million. Right now, he looks good because the offense is struggling.
I mean, his winning percentage when he plays is something like 75%. It's just like the last 2 seasons. Oh my God, stop putting that guy's stuff up.
This shadow under his nose makes him look like he's got a Hitler mustache. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It does.
So many comments.
my
I don't
God.
even know how to
Could
stop
we
these.
stop? Oh my God.
I don't know how to
So,
block
hey,
the
Daniel,
comments.
quick question.
I don't
Daniel,
know-
quick question.
yeah.
Who chooses which of these quotes come
That's
on
what
the
I'm
screen?
saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's we know it's Daddy-O because you have to like pay to let other people have StreamYard
Ridiculous.
access.
And yeah.
Fried
Shirts in
Bologna
my hands.
is
Shirts in
Daddy-O's
my
biggest fan. Of course, he's gonna highlight him.
Well, fried bologna is what he eats every day.
Well, that's also
guys,
true.
Man.
I do have to say,
Can I-
when
yeah.
I was in Nashville before the game, I went like the Friday before the game to Robert's Western World, and I had like the recession special, which is like a fried bologna sandwich, a moon pie, a bag of chips, and a PBR. And the fried bologna sandwich at Robert's Western World was nothing to turn your nose up at. So,
Yeah.
plug for Robert's
Well,
Western
this is the
World.
first time I think we should let Bridget continue her thoughts. This is delicious.
Unless that guy owns Robert's Western World, I'm not super worried about
I don't
it.
think so.
But
Well, look, here's the thing,
Yeah.
John. We're going to talk about the Ravens.
They've
We're
got
talking
a they've
about
got a
Lamar
weak.
Jackson.
I think they've got a weak pass defense, but a good run defense. The Ravens nowadays. Is that fair to say? Generally speaking,
It's actually the opposite, which
Opposite.
is. Well, but I understand where you're coming from because that's
Yeah.
usually what it's been. But they haven't had Calais Campbell for a little bit. Their secondary works really well as a unit. Kyle Hamilton, he's done really well as a rookie safety. I think they've worked well as a unit in the back seven. They acquired Roquan Smith in the trade deadline, so he's been working together with Patrick Queen. So it's still a really good defense that does a lot of things really well. But teams have been able to run the ball against them pretty well. So if there's a chance that Joe Mixon kind of gets some steam rolling before the playoffs, this might be the game.
Well, whenever he does get steam, he and P. Ryan, that's when we do well.
It's
And
very
so,
good, but let's just talk about this.
The Bills
Joe-
were also really great. I mean, in
Yeah.
the little bit we saw
The-
on Monday night,
Yeah.
man, that was a team that could really push the ball forward. And red zone production wasn't great, but the Bills, I mean, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, well, the Bengals look better, you know, and there is that first pass to Hurst.
Offensive line have been healthy all year. Hurst! Hurdle!
Where he literally jumped over
Yeah, it looked like a
5
horse.
people. And then they're saying, oh, and then look at the touchdown.
Wait,
to
did a lot
Boyd.
of people
Lot
put
of
together
people.
these clips and prepare them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
Brings up a first down at the 14. Burrow. Good protection. End zone.
That man
And
had
a lot of
fire.
people saying they look unstoppable. You know,
A lot of
it's
people
just,
are
it's just
saying that.
crazy.
I
It's crazy.
wanted to scream at Hayden Hurst though when he did that hurdle. I'm like, sir, this is how you hurt yourself. Like, do we need to do that? Do we need to make the big, like, prime time? He was up in the air, and I feel like that's how he got hurt the
Well, it
last
doesn't matter.
time.
Hayden Hurst is an animal. That's what I've learned about them.
We all are
He is an animal. He is here to rip people's heads off, to bite their heads off.
No.
He has found himself in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, John?
Yes.
I mean, this man is playing with confidence for the first
Ravens
time in
ain't
his
stopping
professional
that.
career.
He
And he's
surely
got-
inspires because Travion Williams did the exact same thing on the kickoff return, then he fumbled it.
Exactly.
That's what it was. I was
Yeah.
like, I saw 2 hurdles, and I was like, young men, please stop with the showmanship. You are going to get hurt. And I think the Travion Williams thing was a little bit of a, okay, you're right. We need
They
to.
should.
Yeah.
They
Control the
should.
ball.
They should broadcast, Bridget, your voice into their helmets, like the voice of reason. You know, like Jiminy Cricket style.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's just I wish you could I wish you could speak to these people that they're saying all these
All the people
things
saying
on
all those
Twitter.
really horrible things.
But
yeah.
look, let us talk, John. Let us talk about the Ravens' offense because Tyler Huntley, with that team around him, he's not going to put up a lot of points. I mean, we just know that at this point.
Well,
So yeah,
there are some ways they could do that. I mean, look, he's not the greatest quarterback, but from now, unless things have changed, am I right to say that they have a great receiving core still?
they have no receivers, literally no.
Did you
wide
purposely
receivers.
like do the exact opposite research for the Ravens? Because
I might-
They have a
my
very good
notes-
tight end. Well, they have a very good tight end.
My notes say they have one of the top wide receivers.
And
in
what
the
year
NFL.
are your notes from?
What year is this?
Forget it. Look,
What year are your notes from?
2021.
John,
Perfect.
it was still a bad receiving core. John, look, of course they have Deshaun Jackson, who's like 38 years old, but he's still one of the fastest players in the league. John, okay, so I guess we can move on. We don't have to talk too much about this game because there's not that much we know in terms of how much they're going to play the starters. If they play the starters, John, we can agree that unless the Bengals, Joe Burrow said,
Who
he
is
said
our
it's going to
backup
be
quarterback?
tough. He
Brandon
said it's going to be
Allen?
tough to go out there, which
Yeah.
again, a lot of people are saying that this is another reason they should get the win because they've had to deal with a lot too. It's just not fair. It's just some of this stuff. It just gets under my skin. But
Yeah, it really bothers you. I can tell.
both teams get a win then.
no,
Everyone- everyone gets the win?
The Bengals because it's like when you have injury timeouts, the timeouts taken from the team with the injury. So it's like in this case, you can't punish the team that didn't get injured. That's what they're saying. It's crazy. And
It sounds
don't
like
even,
they.
You shouldn't even bother
yeah.
with that.
It sounds like they.
Some
really-
people are saying, not me though.
Yeah.
Just don't bother with it, John. It'll just get you messed up in the head.
But
Yeah.
but Daddy-O, I'm curious why you think the Bengals won't play their starters when they still have seeding to play for. Like last year they didn't
He's
because
saying
they
they-
were just
they
locked.
might not.
They were locked into the 4th seed. But I'm curious why they wouldn't though. I don't see the value.
I
in that.
think that if they see how the Chiefs game unfolds and how I'm saying they might not play the starters the whole game. I think they'll play them a quarter. But I'm just
like,
saying, yeah.
you either play to win or you don't really care.
That's
like,
true. That's
like
a good
why would
point.
they take them out? Like
That's true. Okay.
I mean,
So-
and it's also the fact that the Bengals are going to be playing a team with really strong receivers, bad secondary.
Bad run defense, great pass defense. John, I guess this is what I'm saying. What if they see that their players are actually
Who are you talking about now?
not
The
the
Bengals?
Bengals? What if the Bengals see that, hey, my players need a break,
it's possible.
and Yeah, but I think you're right. I think they're going to go out there and play and maybe try to get back into the rhythm before the playoffs. So let's get our predictions. This show's gone on long enough.
Okay, Ravens and Bengals.
Yes.
Bridget had a take real quick. Wait, no, put it back
It
on
wasn't.
Bridget.
It wasn't a
Oh,
good
sorry.
take. I
No,
was
sorry.
just watching, listening to Joe and DJ yesterday. Like there's something too about like getting back into routines. Football's a game, sure, but a lot of us like lean into work when things are feeling hard or emotional. So there's also that element of like, you can tell these guys love the game and they love to play. And so I think, and it sounds from what we're hearing that they have a ton of support, whether it's from the team chaplain, team medical staff, that they're getting what they need. I loved seeing that Tyler Boyd said he'd been I've been on T. Higgins to, just make sure he's okay. And so I think they've got a lot of care and love. And so I think many of them are thinking like, let me do something to kind of either feel a sense of normalcy or like get out some of this stuff. So we could still see some players who may say they don't want to play, they're not comfortable with playing, and I think you'll have just as many, if not more, who need this to be able to kind of focus some of their energy and emotion.
I'm excited for your good takes if you think that was a bad take.
Yeah.
I've yet to share my good takes. Maybe one day.
Thank you, Bridget. I will say it wasn't a terrible take. It was fun.
Yeah. It was a good
So let us get your predictions, please. John.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are very good right now, but they typically play the Bengals pretty well when they're at full strength defensively. We saw them have success back in October. The Bengals offense has grown a considerable amount since that time. But the whole variable of where their mental state is at this point, like they may come out of the gate pretty rusty, but then, as Joe Burrow says, like once the game's underway, you start to get a feel for it, and maybe, they'll start to feel a sense of normalcy, like Bridget was talking about. So I think they'll end up kind of getting into their groove. The talent will overcome everything. So I think the Bengals will be fine in this one. So I'm going to say Ravens 19, Bengals 17.
Yeah, I'm feeling the way John's feeling, except we need to remember that we are living in strange times, and all of the stuff that's happening, it's all astrological. I mean, I'm going to do a whole episode on that. We're going to talk about it. Strange times, strange things coming. Look, the Bengals, they're going to face a team that isn't great, sure, but they've been good before. And if the Bengals don't have a lot on the line and they're not fully in it, I think it is, as John said, going to be a close game. I do think the Bengals will win in the end because their reputation is on the line and people are watching them. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it won't be probably as high scoring as John said. I think it'll be in the mid-teens, 17 to 14, that kind of thing. And player of the game. That's a great question. You know what? I honestly don't know, but I'm going to say T. Higgins because I love that guy, and if he probably watches the show, and I want him to know how much I love him, and I want to know no one blames him for anything that happened, and of course not, because that would be ridiculous. And that's it.
So I'm going to say T. Higgins is the player of the game, even if that man doesn't play one snap of football.
Cool.
That's just he gets to be player of the game for Week 18, and that's just fine. He needs it, and we care about him, and we love that dude. I feel like it's going to be maybe a slow-scoring, kind of slow first half of football. But I think I'm going to go Bengals 28, Ravens 17. I think there's going to be a point in the game where things just click. I think the energy at the stadium, I think it's going to be very different from Monday night, but I think it's going to be no less powerful and connected to the team. So what did I say? 28-17?
Yeah.
Well, let's say I said that. 28-17, and I think we really start cooking in the second half.
Wow. Well,
Thank you to Amy for that comment, by the way.
That was just great. And I'm going to say something. Look, the Bengals are dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
And they are, obviously, they don't have the shot at the number 1 seed. And they might not have positioning on their mind, John. They might just be trying to get back, get right mentally.
Yes.
And so I think, I'm not blaming anybody. It's not anybody's fault, but I think they're going to go out there and play like trash.
Oh, no.
I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to play like trash, yeah.
That's horrible. And then what will be the final score with that
Final
trash
score
play?
will be 31-10 Cincinnati.
Okay,
That's my
now,
prediction.
now, I think some people are wondering here what would make them win if they're playing like trash.
I don't know why they would wonder
so
that.
many.
All right, for those who are wondering, I would say, John, when you step into a trash bin, it is an eclectic
When
mix.
you step into a trash bin.
Not if.
When you do it, often,
As one does.
as one does.
Scouring
going.
when the
When
thrift
one
stores
lives,
are sold
when
out.
one lives behind a trash bin. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Daddy just admitted to being Oscar the Grouch.
Can I finish here? This is very
Yes,
insensitive.
yes, you can.
Yeah.
So when you, let's say, walk by a trash bin, right? It's an eclectic mix of odors, right? You have your fish bones. Sometimes there's actually a good amount of meat left on those. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
You have your banana peels. You have your-
Maggots.
you have dirty diapers. A lot of times they're not that dirty. But anyways, you have all these different smells. And they hit you in different directions. They send you different places, right?
Okay.
So similar to that, the Bengals offense right now, John, as we saw against the Bills, they can go anywhere with the ball. They can go to Hayden Hurst, they can go to Tyler Boyd, they can go to
variety.
Trenton.
A mixed bag.
And they catch teams off guard by being all over the place. You get a taste of this, a taste of that, a smell of this, a whiff of that. You
So like
have
a
no idea
buffet.
what's coming. And the Ravens have bullied us for too long. And it is, and we're at peak in terms of offensive performance. They are a team that doesn't want to even play this season, it looks like.
No.
And so, that is why they would play like trash.
Hence the trash. Now, I don't get why it has to be disgusting, decrepit, rotting variety, but whatever. I love it. I think this Bengals team is now, I think it's now everybody's favorite Bengals team. Forget, we used to look back fondly on the old days. We are living in the best of times to be a Bengals fan. That's something to be positive about and happy about. I love our coach. I love our team. I love Joe Burrow. And I love mostly our fans. Amazing people. It's such a great time to be a Bengals fan. Who they?
Yes, absolutely.
What about that song?
Right.
Do it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so John,
Jabba
just tell them
Yeah.
what they need to do as we end the show with
You have nothing to do. You have nothing to do except keep Damar Hamlin in your thoughts and your prayers,
Yeah.
and whatever makes you feel comfortable coping with everything that
Yeah.
you've experienced this past week. Do what you need to do. Stay strong.
Self-care.
And
Stay
he, by the way,
happy.
he has a GoFundMe
Yoga.
that you can find the link.
Whoa, that was very misleading.
And-
You
hold
said
on,
he has a GoFundMe, and then you
GoFundMe.
put our. That was very
on.
misleading.
Yeah,
he
he has
said
a
he has a
GoFundMe
GoFundMe, then he puts
that-
our Patreon on there on the site.
He
You see
was
that?
going for $2,500. It says $7 million. Their max capacity. You're looking to give. You want to help? Just give in charity. Doesn't matter where. You can go to patreon.com/DHS Sports. You can go anywhere. Obviously,
You
subscribe.
are evil.
Subscribe to our
Monster.
podcast.
Well,
Tell your friends about the podcast. All that kind of stuff. And
People
we'll see you
are
next
saying-
time. So long.
Sweetie
we'll
pie.
share Damar Hamlin's and T. Higgins links for donations on
Yeah,
our
follow
own
us on
Twitters.
Twitter,
Yeah.
Thank you. So long, you guys.